Rendez-Vous, 2015, Simone inherits a farmhouse in France and makes her way there with her husband Eric and their 2 children. Her dream is to turn the house into a bed and breakfast, but as the rebuilding gets underway, she gets caught up in the romance and chaos of it all. Losing sight of her goals, she must find her way back to the dreams and ambitions which brought her there in the first place. Simon's mother had gifted her 9 acres of land in the house. That's why they had come to live here. They will have to do maintenance work to make it livable. But that house was very old. And there was a water problem in that house. So when Eric goes to work, Simon decides to do some shopping. She goes to a store with the children. While Simone is in the store, a boy approaches her and says that she should have some juice. "This is very tasty," he said, and he leaves the store. When she was leaving for home, she finds that her daughter is missing. She starts searching here and there in that store. When she doesn't see her anywhere, she gets very upset. Then suddenly she appears with a man. The man says that Suzanne was in the store. She comes home. When she enters the kitchen, Eric was fixing the water pipeline. He had arranged water for bathing. But that water was very cold, but they have to deal with it. The next day Simone goes to school to drop her children. When she was coming back and leaving the child, she sees a woman sitting in the car. She was crying. Looking at her, it seems that something bad has happened to her. At night, Simone and her family go to a restaurant only to be visited later by the man who had found Simon's daughter earlier that day. Simon's told him she forgot to thank him the other day. She tells Eric that he is the one who found their daughter today, so Eric says hello to the man. The man reveals his name is Peter, and he sits down and drinks with them. The next day Peter comes to visit Eric's house. Now because he was a contractor, he says that he will help them to fix this house. He also suggests to dry the moisture of the house, we should keep the lamp lit. Before the housework begins, Simone and Eric clear out everything in the house. They used to work together all day, they loved each other, and they were happy too. One day when Simone comes back from the market, she finds work going on at her house. Then suddenly that boy who she met in the store comes to her. Simone starts smiling after seeing that boy. She cooks food for all those workers and feeds them all. Then she starts chopping some wood, but she was struggling. Then that boy comes there. He says, "Shall I help you?" So Simone says yes. Then that boy teaches her how to do that. But slowly he starts flirting with Simone. She also likes him and smiles at him. That night, while Peter, Eric, and Simone are on a dinner date, Eric goes out to get more drinks. Peter then tells Simone that you are a terrible cook. Simone finds his words very strange. In conversation, Simone asks Peter, "Do you have any children?" Then Peter says no, but my ex has a son who is a lot like me. When Eric returns, he casually tells Peter that Simone's mother left us a lot of money. After Peter leaves, Simone tells Eric that we shouldn't tell strangers how much money we have. Eric says that Simon has to learn to trust people even if he comes from France. The next morning the boy follows Simone home. He was a worker and used to work with Peter. After some time, when Simone was going home with the wood, the boy followed her. He says, "Let me help you." After this, he helps Simone light the fire in the house. Then he slowly starts touching Simone. He tries to kiss Simone. But she was not sure, seeing her confused. She is not ready for this yet, so he leaves. Then Simone also comes out of the house and takes a deep breath. She was burning inside. On the other hand, the guy was looking good, whose name she didn't even know. And on the other hand, she was afraid that Eric might come to know about this. But she is constantly thinking about him. She can't concentrate on her work anymore, due to which she burns the food as well. Later she serves the same food to the workers, seeing when the other workers take out their lunch boxes. But that boy starts eating her food. One day when everyone goes out with Peter, a girl came and asks Simone if Peter is working for them. Simone says yes. Then that girl says to Simon, "You should always keep your distance from Peter." She was the same girl who was crying in the car that day. The next morning, Eric had to go to the hardware store, while Simone had to go to the market for some things. That's why Eric tells Simone to take Michael to the store. His name was Michael. Simone says, "Why should this work be handed over to Michael?" But Eric says that we cannot give debit cards to any unknown person. "You go with him." So she goes to the store with Michael. But the store was closed, so Michael takes Simone to a place. Here he asks Simone, "What are your dreams? What do you want to do in life? I want you to be happy and think about yourself too." Saying this, he kisses Simone. One day Simone received a call about Eric's mother. She had a stroke. Because of this, Eric has to go to the hospital. Simon also wants to go with him, but Eric says that if you are not here, then who will take care of the children and who will cook food for the workers? So Simon stays and Eric leaves. Now she was home alone, so she invites her sister to her house for company. In the morning Simon was taking a bath, then suddenly Michael comes to her room, seeing which she starts covering her body with her hand. And Michael says, "Put your hands down. You are very beautiful. There is no need for you to hide your body." Just then Susan woke up and broke something, so Simone goes to her. Susan sees Michael leaving the bathroom. The next day, when Simone and her sister were going to pick up the kids, Michael came. He wanted to buy something from the market, so Michael asks to go with them. He tells her to go to the hardware store. Buy some things, for which you will have to pay. Simone takes him along. Although she understood his intentions. Later, Julian says that we will go to school first, then to the hardware store. Simone asks Julian to watch the kids for her. She says till then we come through the hardware store. Julian gets out of the car. Now on the way, Michelle starts touching her. He takes her to a deserted house where no one lives. After reaching there, both become intimate. But she was really happy with him. Because the next day when she was cooking in the kitchen, she remembers the same moments again and again, which she had spent with Michael. At night when she was brushing her teeth, she heard someone's voice. When she reached up with the torch, it was Peter. She gets scared seeing him here. Peter says that Eric has asked me to keep an eye on everyone. Then he told her, "I will have a party soon, so buy yourself a nice dress." Then he leaves. Michael and Simon both worked in the same house, so whenever they got a chance, they used to take advantage of it. But it was not going to last for long. Somebody will find out about it. One day Michael tells Simone that his mother died when he was just 6 years old. Simone feels bad for him. Simone always used to visit Michael in some place and used to behave as if she had gone for some other work. The Julian was beginning to suspect her. Then Eric came home, that's why she was going to leave. While leaving she tells Simone that I am not blind. I know how you look at each other, and I don't think Eric is unaware of that. Simone gets scared, so she went to Michael and told him that the affair was wrong. We'll have to stop this. She says stay away from my house and asks Peter to find some other worker. Saying this she leaves. When Eric returns, Susan tells Eric that her mother was in the bathroom with Michelle. Hearing this Eric gets upset and asks Simone about that. Simone says yes, we fixed the geyser, now we have hot water for a bath. Although Eric does not digest this thing. But he ignores it. The next day, Michael is back at work. Simone says, "Why have you come here?" Michelle says, "I work for Peter and I have to do what he says." Eric and Peter talk to Simone while they eat. Peter wanted a bungalow to be built on Simone's land, which would benefit both of them. Simon refuses them. There is an argument between them at night on this matter. When the workers' truck arrives in the morning, Michael was not among them. When Simone is in the kitchen, she feels not well, so she does a pregnancy test. And it comes positive. She goes to the doctor for an abortion. But the doctor says that here we consider it a gift given by God, due to which she comes back. When she comes home she saw Peter. He starts blackmailing her by showing her and Michael's photos, which she admits. Now Simone's tension was increasing. One day everyone goes to Peter's home for a party, where Simone sees a picture of Peter and Michael and remembers that Peter said his ex had a son and Michael said his mother has died. At that moment she thinks that Peter and Michael, two of them, had planned this together. Then this other woman has come. It was the same woman who was crying in the car. She tells Simone that they both did the same thing to me. After listening to her she comes out of the party. Michael also follows her and he tries to stop her. Simon gets very angry with him and tells him that you were playing games with me and you got me pregnant. When they were fighting, Peter comes without any noise. He also knows that Simon is pregnant. The next day, when she is dropping the children at the school, Michael makes several calls to her, but she does not pick up his calls. Then Peter messages her saying, "I request you not to have Michael's child." She goes home after finding Peter was also there. She tells Peter that she is going to tell Eric the whole truth. Eric overhears their argument and goes to them. Now Eric has found out too, so Peter takes it upon himself to explain to Eric. Michael also came. Peter tells Eric that we are family now because his wife is pregnant with Michael's child. Saying this he starts leaving. But Simon gets very angry and pushes Peter, due to which his head hits the axe and he dies on the spot. Now they get very scared, so they take Peter's car and leave the house and hide his car, but Michael's friend was watching them, so Simone calls Michael on the way. Michael says he will take care of everything, just meet me at the same place as before. But one day the police come to Simone's house and they arrest her and take her to the police station. They lock her in the lockup. Sometime later an officer tells Simone that they have got some new leads. The police were letting her go. Eric came to pick her up. Then we see Michael being taken away by the police. Police say Michelle confessed to the crime he killed Peter, but she knows that Michael said this to rescue Simon. In return, he wanted Simone to give birth to his child. Now Simone was living in the same house again with her family, and she had decided to give birth to Michael's child. She also wants this child because Michael takes Simone's crime on his head to save her from going to jail. In this way, he proved that he was not simply taking advantage of her. He truly loved her.